All right, we live, we live. All right, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, the Prophet Kadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders, the great millstone, for teaching his word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. Salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, I'm my brother Gabar YAHAWADAH.
This is the brother Kahanallah.
This is brother YAHAWADAH.
Khan, we the brothers of GMS Hawaii. This is our weekly video sit down. Our weekly sit down video as a camp. Today is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. The hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. You know, that the Most High bring this judgment and we can get out of here. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that the Heavenly Father through His Son, Yahweh Shai, put the Spirit on Elder Apostle Tahar to deem this year the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, because we're gonna go into something, and what we're gonna go into is that, you know, how the Lord mercy. It's through the Lord's mercy that we ain't consumed. It's through the Lord's mercy that we ain't destroyed as a nation, right? Because that's how the Lord judge His people. He judge us through His mercy. So we get judged bit by bit. It ain't full throttle. I was telling one of the elders I was speaking to about the same topic that when the Lord judges these other nations, He gonna judge them in their full capacity. Meaning it ain't gonna be no breaks for them. That's why Esau and these heathen gonna have 1,000 years of hardcore judgment. But the Lord didn't give us 1,000 years of hardcore judgment, even though He did judge us in His wrath. When you look what happened to Jake going captivity in America, we just using America. I was telling the brothers that earlier before we started this lesson, when we talk about a recent captivity that of us being here in America, the Lord could have, if the Lord wanted, He could have had us in chattel slavery from the time we got here to the time He sent His only begotten Son here back to save us. But He didn't do that. He opened up mercy to the point where, like, He made Esau stop the hardcore slavery that was being pushed on Israelites, not only in America but around the world, right? And in this captivity, you can go get drunk. You know, you got Jake on drugs, and they do all that shit to basically to cope with the hell that you're catching, the captivity that you're catching. I have brought out earlier when I was speaking to the elder, the book of Baruch. Real quick, one of you brothers get Baruch chapter 4. I think it's verse 8. Baruch 4 and 8. Damn, man. Yeah, go out of brother.
Oh, so lucky. This is the book of Baruch 4. 4 and 8.
Yeah, that's it. Salaki, go back to that. Go back to the whole thing, the whole chapter.
6.
Let me see what it say. What it says it's been years. Yeah, that's it. Salaki, Baruch 4 and 6. Make it big. Go ahead and share your screen, Ariel. What happened, brother?
I was looking for Baruch, but I got second Ezra's instead.
You got to share your screen, brother.
God.
Go ahead and read, brother. Kahan.
This is the book of Baruch 4 and verse 6. It says, "Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Heavenly Father to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies."
Yeah, that's it. So it said what? You were sold to the nations.
Okay.
You were sold to the nations. I'm sorry. Go back to verse 6, brother. Yeah. You were sold to, the point was in 6. Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies. So when the Lord put us in the hands of our enemies, chiefly our enemy Esau, Edom, right? He didn't do that to destroy us. It might seem that way because you see Jay getting put to death, catching hell, getting hung on trees, Remember, the scriptures speak about how this man, how the heathen went above what the Lord wanted for us. Matter of fact, before you get what you get in second address, you can use that same page that you got and go to it's a precept that says shit, slack it, brother. I'm trying to quote it correctly. It's in Zephaniah. I think it's in Zechariah or Zephaniah. I think it's Zechariah chapter 2. I'm sore displeased with the heathen. I am sore displeased with
Zechariah 1 and 15.
Yeah, that's it. Zechariah 1 and 15. Go ahead and get that. No, not you, brother. The brother Ariel. Oh, man.
Oh, okay.
Zechariah 1 and 15, brother.
Hi. Zechariah 1 and 15.
Click on it, make it big, brother. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and read it.
This is the book of prophet Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Yeah, that's what they did. And these nations, they helped forward our affliction. You know, so when you look at all the extra, things that they did to Jake, you know, you got what is it called? Sharecropping. You got the convict leasing system, right? You had the black laws. What you call it was the Jim Crow laws. You know, those are all that's extra. They went above. They help. That's help forward. And when you read that in the NLT, it says they went above what the Lord meant for us, right? And even to this very day, we're still in captivity. You know, and it like Tony Sotomayor in this video right here, he was talking about basically this guy made a song, and he's really proud about his song, and his song basically saying that, you know, you black people ain't invent nothing or create nothing ever since they was in slavery. People talk about Black Wall Street, right? And then Captain Cesario, he was letting them know, because this is a debate, right? But he was letting them know that, like, look, all this systematic oppression that happened to us didn't happen to these other nations. You talk about the Jews, the so-called Jews, which are nothing but Edomites, the top elite, right? Not everybody that's a so-called white person is an Edomite, but we're talking about the elite of these people, right? They create this big-ass wall around them, and they make it seem like their hell is better than everybody else's. And so they get paid for that shit. They make laws in different countries that you can't talk bad about these people. That ain't happened for the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. They didn't make, wow, they kept the oppression going. So by the time where Jake start talking about, well, first of all, the difference between these other nations and us is that their problems got redressed, meaning they got some type of compensation for what they went through. We didn't get that. We just got destroyed, and that was it. To the point where now was like, you don't have to have Esau standing over you, calling you a nigga, putting you on a rope, hanging you from a tree, putting that fear, the Edomite in you. You don't have to have that because Jake is on autopilot now, right? So even though you got access to more resources than our forefathers had, you still can't do shit with it because this ain't your kingdom. Or every day you got to worry about just surviving. That's it. So you can't worry about building another Black Wall Street or Latin Wall Street or Native American Wall Street. Why? Because you're just concerned about making it through the day. Meanwhile, these nations, they ain't on that type time. They got investment groups, they got all kinds of things that's set up for them to benefit off of their resources. Unlike us. You got something to say, brother?
Does he understand? I mean, obviously not. Sotomayor, does he understand that we're under the curses of Yahawah, the curse of Yahawah Shemashai?
Nope.
Because it absolutely doesn't seem like it. Because Jake always says, why don't we just do this or do that? We can't do this or do that because we're here for judgment, for punishment from Yahawah Shemashai for not keeping the commandments.
I got a precept for you, brother. Hey, this is the book of I'm not going to bring it up on the screen, but I'm going to read it. It's the book of Micah 2 and 10. I got a precept for you right here. Let
Mm-hmm.
me bring it up. This is Micah 2:10. Yep. The book of Prophet Micah.
Yeah.
Right? Chapter 2, verse 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." You got it, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that we're here for punishment. We're not here to be successful, to make a Black Wall Street. We're not here for that. That's why all those attempts to do that, Yahawah shot it down. Because we're here to be judged, to be punished. And you know, he really doesn't know the scriptures, obviously, because Captain Tazariak quote a scripture, and he says, "Oh, where's that in the Bible?"
Yeah.
Why don't you just search for it yourself?
Well, he don't know.
And he don't know.
He can't know. And he's what 2/3 of our people do not know. They do not understand. Or they don't understand that we're in a place of a time of judgment, a place of judgment. Hold on, brother. Yeah, they don't understand that what happened, brother?
Salak, my computer froze for some reason.
All right. Can you get your screen back up that you were sharing, Baba Kasha?
Okay.
But yeah,
can I get this quick preset?
Go ahead, bring it up on your screen, bro.
Khan, this is
no, bring it up on your screen that you were sharing, brother.
Khan, this is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 15. But this is the Good News translation.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just go ahead and quote it and read it. Go ahead.
Khan, this is the Good News translation. It reads, "And I am very angry with the nations that enjoy quiet and peace." And this is Yahawah Shemashai. For while I was holding back my anger against my people, those nations made the sufferings of my people worse.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's more in depth.
Yeah, they made it worse.
They made it worse.
And when you look at well, what, because he mentioned Black Wall Street, right? It was more than one Black Wall Street all throughout America. You know how you got little Italy, little China, little this, little that, all throughout America, little Germany. You had that in America for a time. But what Esau do? He envied, he got mad, and he oppressed Jake and destroyed that shit. And then they say, Barakatah, brother. They destroyed it, and then they'll say the reason why it was destroyed because of race riots. But it wasn't no race riots. It was Esau rolling on Judah, destroying him because he was envious of how Jake was making it. Here it is, you done had 350 plus years of hardcore slavery on you, and you were able to come out of that shit and still be self-sufficient, self-reliant. And then it's like in the 70s, reparations was a big thing during the time of the Black Panther Party and a lot of these so-called revolutionary organizations in America that surrounded so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. They were talking about being repaid, bro. So what Nixon do? He stopped that shit, start elevating a few of our people in particular positions, and he called it entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And then during the time of Lyndon Baines Johnson, who was right before Nixon, Lyndon Baines Johnson said, we want to get them just enough so that they can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where entrepreneurship come in at, right? They pushed that whole, and then during the Nixon administration, they pushed that whole entrepreneurship, so-called self-reliance, which the Black Panther Party was already on top of that. They was already talking about that. That's what they were already standing on. But they didn't want you to have enough where you had a voice, right? Anytime you talk about reparations, repayment to the devil, he loses his fucking mind. It's the same thing that happened in Haiti with the former president, prime minister. I can't really pronounce his name because it's kind of like French or whatever. But this particular president, when he got in the office in the 2000s, like 2003, he brought up that, hey, look, France, you need to pay Haiti $21 billion for reparations. And he was about to get it. And then what Esau do? He sent in a fucking coup d'etat, and he sent in his Edomite armies from America, France, and other nations came up in there, stomped that nigga out of power, put him out of power, made that nigga flee to Africa, all while he was on the phone in the airplane, and they forced him to relinquish power. And then they put a puppet nigga in there that he didn't even bring up reparations. He didn't even talk about reparations. And ultimately, Haiti became a failed state, right? And that's what it was all about. It wasn't about him mismanaging the government. It wasn't about him mismanaging the money. Nope. It's because he brought up reparations, man. So Esau don't want to make it right. Even if he could, he don't want to do it. Like they said, the precept says in
they refuse to let them go.
That one too, that's a good one. But the one in Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, I think 14 verse 5, if he do any good, he do it for unwillingly, and in the end, his wickedness will show. So anytime this devil do call himself doing good for our people, it's really not good. It's wickedness. You know? So let me keep on playing this, brother.
Yeah.
I get it. I like that. I like that quote. That's a very good one. Because if you think about it, it's few quotes in the Bible that we like to make, but it's to make because it turns the fingers back at us. We like to quote things that make other people look bad.
Right.
Which that's not true. That's not true at all. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures are a mirror of self-examination for the nation of Israel. But the only ones that can see it, like the brother, the priest, the third priest, and I can't Ariel said, man, said they don't know. They don't see it. They can't see it. He can't see it.
He can't see it.
And he can't see
right
it.
There. It's right there.
Right. Because the Lord didn't give him the eyes to see nor the ears to hear.
Yeah.
This ain't the first time that Tony Sotomayor had to deal with the Israelites. This is definitely not the first time, bro. As long as I've been in the truth, almost going on 11 years, I've seen this man pop up many times, especially early on, you know, in the early 2010s. Yeah, this nigga was back and forth with Jake. But his thing is about the black woman. That's all he wants is the black woman. He wants the black woman to be in order, but she won't be.
She won't be in order.
He don't understand the reason why she can't get in order is because of the curses. She's not going to get in order unto you. She ain't going to look at you like you're the God's gift to salvation.
Yeah, you know? And it all comes back. It all comes back to YAHAWADAH being in control. The black woman is not going to get in order because she's, like you said, she's under the curses from who? YAHAWADAH. We're not going to be in order as a nation here in Babylon the Great because we're under the judgment and the punishment of YAHAWADAH. And it's always amazing, not amazing, but so obvious when somebody like this guy, Sotomayor, doesn't get it because the Lord is not dealing with him.
That's right. Jake is always Salaka, there's an ambulance passing by. But you know, Jake in the world, man, they always think that, you know, the men of the Lord are always judging, you know, the outside, but really we judge ourselves first before, you know, we point anything out, man. This is why, you know, the scriptures tell us to examine ourselves. There's another scripture that says what? To take out the mote out of our own eyes before we help our brothers, man. You see, and Jake is always in that mentality, like in that defensive state of like, nah, nobody could judge me, only God could judge me. So they don't think that men can actually point out their flaws.
I got a precept for you to line up right what you just said, man.
So that's what he was saying, like, you know, I like those scriptures that point back at us. Well, all the scriptures point back at us, because the reason we in this condition, like the brothers were going into, is because of our transgression.
Yep, this is 1 Corinthians 2:14 and 15. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. When you read that in the NLT, it says, but people who aren't spiritual can't receive these truths from the Heavenly Father's Spirit. It all sounds foolishness. It all sounds foolish to them, and they can't understand it for only those who are spiritual can understand what the spirit means, right?
Yeah,
that's right. And you know, that's why, you know, Jake always tries to come up with a solution carnally. Oh, well, why can't we do like the Jews do it? Or why can't we do like the Arabs do it? You know, you're looking at it carnally from what you see in this world. But this world, like the scriptures say, is of the flesh, man.
no,
Yeah, and this is why you see the only Jakes that prosper is those that are wicked, man. But you don't look at things spiritually, which is how the Lord wants us to operate. And that's why we can't pass that threshold as a nation to be above these other nations, man. Because the Lord told us, if you keep my covenant, you're gonna be above over all these nations. But if you don't, no matter what you do, man,
no matter
you're
what
gonna
you
be
do.
under those curses. You
Yep.
see, even us brothers in the faith, although we're not trying to be part of this world, man, we're never gonna be on high on this side, man. No
Never.
matter what, because that's not our lot right now. Our
Yeah.
lot is what? To serve out our punishment and to
Yeah.
serve the Lord, man, and bring back, Lord willing, we the prophets, man, bring back the elect unto Yahawah SHAMAYAWAN.
Yeah, it's a, what it's a, one of the curses that everything you put your hand to wasn't going to succeed. No, nothing you put your. But if you the blessings the blessings of the kingdom is anything we put our hands to will succeed. It don't matter what you do in the kingdom of heaven as an Israelite. You know you gonna have, because not every Israelite gonna be on the level of the elect men, or the 144,000, right? But guess what? Whatever them Israelites do, them Israelite citizens do, is always going to flourish. Nothing is going. And why? Because we're going to have righteous. We're going to be righteous, right? All Israel going to be righteous. So that means they're going to all be blessed. Whatever their hand touch, they is going to be blessed. Jake want to open up a canned food shop operation. It's going more than work. It's going to flourish from planet to planet. So that average Jake, he's going to be extremely wealthy. His can business, he's never going to have a drought. He ain't never going to have a moment or incident where one of his canned foods is messed up. It's all going to be perfect. Unlike in this society, when you open up a hamburger shop, shit, something's going to go bad.
Something's going to go bad.
So you can expect it to happen. They call it a downtime. Well, you're going to feel that downtime. You know what I'm saying? Fucking your head, the meat gonna be contaminated with some type of rat, air, feces, and something gonna happen.
There was I got a quick comment. There was a Jake quick videos on Instagram of this Jake, 2/3 Jake. He had some kind of food truck, and the food, somebody hit the food truck like with another vehicle or something, and Jake was balling. I mean, the news people was interviewing him, and he was crying. I felt bad for him. He was crying so hard, man. I mean, tears and everything. And he was crying because he said it took him a year and a half or so to put this food truck together. And he was like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? And I couldn't help but think of, I have this precept right here, Micah chapter 7 and verse 9. I will bear the indignation of the Lord, Yahawah SHAMAYAWAN, because I have sinned against him. Until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, he will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. I said, man, Jake just he didn't get it. He doesn't understand that we're under the curses. But man, he was so hurt because his little food truck was destroyed. Yeah. And I said, man, this he needs to hear a precept.
And why?
They don't understand. They don't understand.
Why was his food truck destroyed? But Esau or these other nations opened up a food truck and the shit just do good. And I remember that one spot we used to go to. It was
Chubbs.
We used to do that shit all the time. Now they was making money hand over fist, even during the pandemic, and they was getting it to the point where this dude was able to turn that food truck into a brick and mortar spot.
Yeah,
that's nice. And all he doing is selling some whack ass burgers and some good ass fries. He ain't changed up the menu. He ain't changed up the restaurant. It was a line outside, brother. I went there one time. It was a line outside, bro. It was a line outside that wasn't even going to Chubbs. And that's how much money this dude is making. He making so much money that there's a line for another spot, and they making money. That was Jake. You be struggling to make a profit. You know?
That was Jake. If you take those Edomites out of that truck and put them to the side, and you replace them with Jake, that truck wouldn't last a year.
Yeah, it wouldn't be there to make a brick and mortar spot. It'd be if the truck was there, it'd be there forever and a day.
Yeah,
trying to make a profit.
Like the other RER from Dallas said, Jake opened up a funeral home and nobody died that year.
It's true.
For real.
It's the curses, man.
That's the Lord.
And you would think I opened up a funeral spot, nobody died. Niggas died. You're like, not this year. Black on Latino deaths are the all-time low this year. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, down the street, Mazel Tov's funeral home, packed full of niggas. Niggas is going up in there. Yep. Like, what? Niggas is coming out there. Niggas is standing in line in a casket like this, waiting to get in Mazel Tov's. You know what I'm saying? Waiting to get up in there to get seen, get a wait. You know, but the Johnson funeral home ain't shit popping. You had a precept. Somebody had a precept.
I had
if you don't have one.
Well, yeah, you could grab it. Is that I kind of had to read?
This is 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. And we're brought low as a nation. Again, it goes back to that we're under the curses from YAHAWADAH. So Jake is never going to have no success here. Never going to have no success here in Babylon the Great, like Esau, Edom, and like these other heathens. Whether it's a food truck or a burger stand or whatever.
A funeral
home. Because I'll be honest with you, bro. I had a few ideas for a business, to open up. But once I found out that we was under the curses, I quickly dismissed those thoughts of having a business, because I said to myself, the Lord ain't gonna let it happen.
Well, it's not just that either. You do got Jake in America that's doing well.
Oh, yeah.
But in order for you to truly thrive in this world, you got to be wicked. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be wicked.
And you got to dedicate your life to that business. Yeah. You can't do that while you in the truth. You got to be balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. I reason with myself, I can't open up a business and be 100% dedicated to that, and also be 100% dedicated to YAHAWADAH. I have to make a choice. It's either one or the other.
And your screen won't share, Kahan. Unshare your screen, and then reshare your screen. Your video is fine, but you're sharing your screen. Yeah. And just now reshare your screen, brother.
Yep, this place is through.
Yeah, there you go. You got it, Kahan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at some precepts over here, but this one's pretty good. In the book of Psalms, it says,
call a verse and read it.
Mm-hmm. I'll start at Psalm 78 and verse 37. It says, for their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. Just speaking about Israel, but he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yeah, many a time turned he his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath.
Yeah, that's mercy. That's mercy. Because when the Lord could have did it, which we're gonna get into it, because I was speaking to the elder and we was going on these precepts, particular precepts that we got. It shows you that, like, the Lord, he gets you right before you go too far. He patient with Jake. Whereas with the heathen, he let them mount their sins all the way up, so that when he bring that wrath, it can't be quenched. The wrath can't be mellowed. But with us, we read it again, brother.
This the book of Psalm 78 and verse 38. It says, "But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yeah, many a time turned he his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath."
Oh, you got it, bro.
That's right, man. And like we were going into, man, the Lord punishes us with measure, because if it was according to the law, we should have all been destroyed, man. But like the brother mentioned earlier, the Heavenly Father made a covenant with our forefathers, man, to give us what? The kingdom, man. And although we're not receiving it right now, like the physical kingdom, he is preparing us for it, man. Through what? Through this chastisement, man. Because like the scriptures say, how can a man enter into that city with first going through the trials and the perils of understanding good and evil, man? You see, we have to learn what it's like to have a kingdom under wickedness, to appreciate righteousness, man. And this is what we're going through right now. Like these men, Tommy Sotomayor and Captain Tasariak are going into, man. They're pretty much like trying to discuss why the Lord got us in a position where we can't advance like the heathens do, man. And the reason is because we failed to keep the covenant, man. So things are always gonna happen to us, no matter what it is. They could bring all the information, all the times that Jake tried to build these cities and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, the reason is because we've transgressed against Yahawah Shai. And the reason why he hasn't destroyed us completely is because he's merciful, man.
That's right. All right, let me play some.
I had another precept. Shoot, I kind of lost it, but pretty much it said Salakia. The precept when, well, I'll look for it. I'll look for it because I lost it when my computer reset it. But I'll look for it. I'll let you know, brother. Salakia.
That's a good one.
It's Proverbs 27. That's Proverbs 27:5. It says, "Open rebuke is better than secret love." Now, what it said on the subject, what makes what you did in that video on the subject do, and the reason why I said it desensitizes you, is it takes away from the fight that they did. No nation disrespects their ancestors' fight more than black people. Jewish people don't disrespect their ancestors' fight against the Germans. The Arabs don't disrespect their ancestors' fight against the Jewish people, but we do. So you said, what have we built? So if I was to just name a few, because I know you mentioned Black Walls, that's usually like the famous one they like to mention. You got Seneca Village, you got Portsmouth, Ohio, Wyandotte, Michigan, Pollock, Louisiana, Salina, Tennessee, Comanche County, Texas. You got tons of cities. You even got cities now that today are lakes that were once black cities. And what happens is whenever we build up, there's always that same oppressor, that same white man that comes and tear it down.
Yeah, because because Esau is the Most High sword. That's why. He told you this ain't your rest. And especially the tribe of Judah, the head tribe, brother, you're not gonna put your hand. That I think was in Deuteronomy. That's one of the curses where it says, whatever we had paraphrased it earlier. Whatever you put your hand to ain't gonna thrive.
Ain't gonna thrive.
It's not gonna happen. You can see that now. Where in America you see little Mexico thriving? Nowhere. Where in America do you see little Native American, little so-called indigenous people got a town and it's super thriving? I mean, like I said, you got pockets of Jake doing well, but it ain't all over America. Like you see, it don't matter what city you go in America, you're gonna see a little China. You're gonna go to see a Chinatown. Shit, we live in the middle of the Pacific and on an island, and Chinatown is booming. Chinatown is popping. It might be ghetto as fuck. When I say ghetto, it might be like a lot of transitory people. Well, they got them up out of there. They pushed most of them up out of there anyway.
Yeah.
Chinatown is still thriving. They ain't going through no curses. They may not be popping and blowing up like in other cities and states because it's a smaller location. But wherever there's a major metropolis in America, you can bet your bottom dollar there's gonna be Gookville there, and they're gonna be self-sustained, and they're gonna be self-built up, and Esau ain't gonna come up in there and wipe them out and flood their neighborhoods with water and make a man-made lake. You know what I'm saying? Because we're under the curse.
Yeah, and even if you have Jake, so-called doing well, man, it's never in the same level as the heathens, man. I used to work in the Diamond District up in New York City, bro. We used to walk into these places, like these offices where Elam or Amalek or Ishmael, bro, they used to do like deals every day of hundreds of thousands of dollars buying like emeralds, diamonds, and they would just have the money, bro. Like, oh, how much is this stone? Oh, 500,000, 800,000, 200, in just one deal, bro. Just one. Jake don't move that type of money, man. You have some Jakes that might, generate that amount of money like in a month, in a week, but doing a shitload of work. These heathens, they just talk like, oh, let me see what you got. Okay. They're not doing no, like the Jakes that I've known, that I have seen that make money, they fucking pretty much gotta worship money and build up to that point. But these heathen nations, man, they just either inherited or they got lucky. However they did it, but Jake is never playing in the same level, man. Never.
Right. That's right.
I had a quick one. I found that precept. This is in the book of Jeremiah 10 and verse 24. It says, "O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing."
Right, because if the Lord judged us in his anger, we would be gone. That's why it says without the remnant, which that's all part of the mercy.
That's right.
That's all part of the mercy, the sure mercy of David that's laid upon us as a nation. Period. Because he could have just wiped us out. But he do it what? He says, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger. And that's what you see happening. Jake getting judged. I don't care what is that how Jake go out. It's all judgment. Whether Jake get locked up for 1,000 life sentences, whether Jake get put to death out here violently, and that go for men and women and children. That's judgment.
That's right. This is in the new KJV. It says, "O Lord, correct me, but with justice, not in your anger, lest ye bring me to nothing."
Yeah.
And according to to the justice of the Lord, he could have destroyed us, like the brother was going into. But guess what? He had made a promise unto our forefathers, so he's like, I'm not gonna let them succeed in this world. As a nation, we say, obviously there's some Jakes that are so-called successful in this world, but they're the wickedest of our people. But you have Jake trying to do things the right way, and they never gonna make it, man, because again, we paying for our iniquities, and that's justice in the eyes of Yahawadah SHAMAYAWAN. We transgressed his covenant. We agreed to follow after the covenant, and then we failed, man. So why would the Lord let us succeed? Right? That's justice. We broke the covenant, so now we got to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right, brother. That's right. You had something, Ariel?
I'm just looking at some precepts because the priest is absolutely right. By the laws, Yahawadah SHAMAYAWAN can just destroy us because we constantly go off. But he shows that mercy, the sure mercies of David, the same mercy he showed to David, King David, he's showing to us today. Because he could just destroy us.
Yeah, since we spoke about that, go ahead and get this precept real quick. Go. The points is going to be in 3, but you can start at 1. Get Isaiah 55 and 1. Ariel.
Con. Let's see, Isaiah 55
and 1. Start at 1. The points in 3.
This is the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55. I'm going to start at verse 1. Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, and he that hath no money, come ye buy and eat. Yea, come buy wine and milk without money and without price.
Yeah, and you got Jake taking this truth and charging Jake those actual things. That ain't no mercy. You got these dudes in Sakari. They got a pay-per-view for the Passover, man.
What?
Yeah, they're gonna have it televised live or whatever, or live stream live, but you gotta pay to see it.
I said to myself, I wanted to see how they were gonna top the board game.
Yeah,
they topped the board game.
That's a different Israelite group that y'all board game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But last year they had it. Last year, I think it was last year. It might have been the year before last. I think it was the year before last. They had the strip club whole.
Yep, I remember that one.
Debacle. So now you got to pay to go see whatever they got going on. And on top of that, on that same very day, the day of the Passover, they got Soul Food Saturday. You got to pay to get in that.
Wow, so
it's a live debate of particular things. I think he said he's gonna go in talk about the 2/3 while they sit up and play the soul food. But wait a minute, then as soon as the sun go down, there's a Passover. So instead of you getting the people ready for the Pesach, I'm saying you getting people ready for a debate, and then on Passover you charging people. But the Lord told us right here, it's a free offering. It's a free offer of mercy. And because guess what? The Passover is all about mercy. He had mercy on us and not the nations.
That's right. You receive free, give free. Wow. Those guys are really tempting Yahawah Shai.
Well, Lord willing, the Most High brings something horrible to pass. You know what I'm saying? To shake them niggas up. I mean, it's every year. At this point, it ain't even shocking to me, brother. I've been, like I said, Wadi Yahawah Shai going 11 years strong, bro. Wow. And every year is something. Every year is something. It's never not nothing. It's every year is something. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be thankful that we have that blood of the Lamb upon our doors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead and keep reading, bro.
As the prophet Isaiah 55 and verse 2, wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread, and your labor for that which satisfieth not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your soul.
And what is it that we eat that is good? This whole roll.
This whole roll.
Apostle Tahar just did Elder Apostle Tahar did a video. I think might have been earlier this week. I believe it was, or might have been late last week. It said eat the whole roll, man. But the only ones that's going to eat the whole roll is the elect.
That's right.
Go ahead, brother.
Delight, and let your soul delight itself in fatness. Verse 3, incline your ear and come unto me. Hear, and your soul shall live. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David.
Yep, there it is. And that's what we have. The Lord made a covenant with us, an everlasting covenant with us, even the sure mercies of David. Okay, that's why he sends only begotten son, Yahawah Shai. That's why he gave the spirit when Yahawah Shai went to the Lord. He gave us the spirit of truth, this comforter, this word that continues to sustain us even to this day. All right.
That's right.
That was it.
That was it on that. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Back in this video real quick.
And then the war never stops. And we're always prepared for the war. The problem is people on our side will switch sides. And they'll join the other side. Like Fred Hampton, for example, when they did that movie, you could see how COINTELPRO infiltrates them. You'll see how they just when they released what Nixon and Reagan and all was doing with the drug epidemic that was specifically targeted to us. Now, why do you think that is? You had two. I don't agree with their religious beliefs, meaning Martin Luther King and Malcolm. I don't agree with their religious beliefs, right? But you had two black men that was able to galvanize black people for a cause.
Well, Well, the reason why you don't have no so-called black leaders today that's going to galvanize you for a cause, another reason is because Esau, Most High ain't allowed it, but Esau ain't allowing it. Esau, J. Edgar Hoover said that if there's going to be a black Messiah, we going to create him. That's an actual quote.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's an actual quote. Matter of fact, there be no black Messiah unless we create him. I'm gonna share this link with you, brother, and so you can see it. And then you can share it on your screen. Hold on, brother. I'm putting this link in the you know where to find that the private chat links, right? Yeah. Go ahead and click on that, Kahan, and share that link that I just sent in the private chat.
Okay.
Good. There it is. That's from J. Edgar Hoover himself. Go ahead and read it, brother.
It says there will never be another black Messiah unless we create him.
Yeah. So all these leaders, all these so-called black leaders you have today, they're nothing but created messiahs for you, but they're not really a messiah. They're false messiahs. We know that the original black, that was actually a movie called Black Messiah. The original so-called black messiah is Yahawadah. And he didn't create him. He can't create him. You know? But your Martin Luther Kings, your Malcolm X's, your Al Sharptons, your all of them, because they killed all the ones that was grassroots. People like what was this dude name that they made that movie about? What is this? It took my tongue. The nigga they killed in Chicago, he was a Black Panther Party leader. They made a movie called Judas and the Black Messiah about Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton was grassroots. Bunchy Carter was a grassroots. He was, even though they were following these CIA groups, these were the natural leaders at a young age that was like, they were able to galvanize Jake into a group, into the masses. Hey, even what's his name? What's his dude name? Marcus Garvey. He was a particular grassroots leader that he wasn't propped up by Esau. He was taken out by Esau. They didn't murder him, but he died. He died a poor man back in Jamaica. He went to prison first, and then he died a poor man in Jamaica. Why? Because he was galvanizing the so-called black masses back then, pushing toward Jake getting out of America and going back to Africa. And so they basically foiled his plan or his dream, his plot. They foiled it at every turn, particularly financially. And then they gave you the so-called Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was dishonorable as fuck. And then they gave you Noble Drew Ali before that. And he was that was the dude that created the so-called Moore Science Temple. You know, they gave you all that bullshit, but they never gave you who you were. And then when you had leaders that could naturally, which Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, though both of them niggas was insiders too, but they weren't above getting basically wiped out, put to death. You know? You got something, Ariel? No. If you ain't got that moment, no. All right, let me go back to the video. You got it. I know you gotta get to work, so let me go back to the video.
Yeah. Go out.
Because they'll tell you that black people didn't build anything, that they didn't do anything. And then what they did was they had COINTELPRO infiltrate the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X gets separated and then killed. Then you got the white man kill Martin. And at the time that he killed Martin, Martin is saying that the dream that he had was a nightmare, that it was superficial, letting you know trying to eat at master's table wasn't the right thing to do. And then he gets killed. And then at that break in the 70s, you had the feminist movement and the drug epidemic. And when crack came, it eradicated black people.
Right. And see, all that shit stopped, Jake, at every, particularly the House of Judah, at every stop. And people talk about the crack epidemic. You forget about the heroin epidemic that was ravaging New York City and other major cities in America. before the crack came, before the cocaine came, it was alcohol, and then it was heroin, and heroin came back with the soldiers from the Vietnam War. They don't talk about that. And then you had the crack epidemic, which was a front for the Contras. Basically, they was bringing coke, giving America coke, and America was giving them guns. And then America was getting that money, all those millions of dollars. All those millions of dollars were siphoned from the so-called black community. A lot of it came from the white community, actually. A lot of them dollars came from the white community, even during the crack epidemic. There's a documentary called Crack. It used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still up there, but it was a documentary called Crack.
It's still up there.
Yeah, it told you that the majority of those customers that were coming to the ghetto to buy that crack was white people. But they used that as a basis to harshen the drug laws that they were coming up with. That whole prison industrial complex they wanted to reignite.
Yep.
Right? And then again, so how can you think about building a town of your own where the cities that you live are being ravaged as you speak?
To this day.
To this day, right?
So if we're gonna not honor our ancestors that made mistakes and did good things, we'll never recognize the real enemy, and we'll never see it coming. That's why they still voting. People still gonna try to find a reason to vote for Joe Biden or vote for Trump. They're gonna try to find a reason to still vote, thinking that our hope is in that. You're familiar when President Biden got in office and the Chinese people got that bill passed? I think they got it passed in like if Biden got inaugurated in January, I think like 3 weeks when somebody attacked the Asian, they got the anti-Asian bill passed. You familiar with that?
Yes.
They didn't get that bill passed by joining America. They got that bill passed by using their internal power and saying, we won't support you, we won't build you, we won't help you. But because we have such a integrated type of mentality, that's why we don't think like that. We still find ways to join an enemy when he was never meant to be our friend.
Okay. Now I would like to be able to speak towards that. Now you talked about a lot of cities that you said were formed and I guess sustained by blacks, but then the white man came in and destroyed those said cities. You said every time that we build something, the white man comes and destroys it. When I said in that song, I said, if Black Wall Street was so important that we continue to keep talking about Black Wall Street was important, then we could have easily built it back. I went over to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and went there.
You couldn't have easily brought it back because the Lord don't want you niggas to bring it back.
You don't want you niggas to bring it back.
Brother, listen, if America was a place where Jakes was thriving, you niggas wouldn't want to get out of here. And Jakes is semi-thriving in this world, and niggas don't want to leave America. You ain't even thinking about another. Can you imagine, bro? What would be the point of getting cursed or being under curses if you can thrive? It's the same with your woman. If your woman was in order, niggas wouldn't want to leave. If America's prisons were co-ed prisons, niggas would never get out of prison. Niggas go to prison now willingly. You think niggas will commit a crime and open and shit. Like I'm going back to the cell with my bitch. You know what I'm saying? And I'll make more chillins.
Yeah.
There's that. It's not gonna happen, bro.
If the Israelite woman was in order, he wouldn't have a platform.
Exactly. Exactly. He would never have a platform.
I got a quick one.
Bring it out, brother.
This is in the book of Deuteronomy 28 and 65. It says, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You see? And then in the NOT real quick,
yeah, so wherever you Jakes go, wherever we go as a people, you're not gonna find no rest, bro. Unless you tap into what Esau got going on and his wickedness, you're gonna think you're gonna have an illusion of rest. But you ain't gonna get it. You ain't gonna. Why? Because that's part of the curses. Go ahead, brother. You got it. Break it down, bro.
Khan. In the NLT, it says, there among those nations you will find no peace or place to rest, and the Lord will cause your heart to tremble, your eyesight to fail, and your soul to despair. So you see, because of our transgression, hey, the Lord's not gonna let us succeed, man. So no matter what you try to do, it's part of the curses, man.
Yep.
You know,
Here it is.
and like the brother was going into, you know, if we had things in order, Jake wouldn't need salvation. Jake wouldn't need the kingdom of heaven. Even if we weren't at the top, even if the Lord would let us compete at the same plane in the same playing field as these nations, Jake will not seek the Lord, man. Nobody would look at at Yahweh Shem Yahushua for salvation if we were even in a equal playing field, not even above these nations. You see, and that's why the Lord put us in that position, man. Because really, the only way to escape the situation our nation is in now is through Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. And this is what the Lord wants, so that what? So that we seek after him and come to him, with a meek heart, man. And acknowledge, like, damn, we fucked up, man, and we're not gonna get out of this unless we come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Go back to this.
Quick precept.
Bring it out, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 20. And I used this precept in a lesson I did last week. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, himself will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in everything you do, until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me.
Yeah,
the Lord himself, So this punishment, curses, confusion, and frustration, it says in everything you do, this comes from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Mr. Sotomayor. So J Cam, you can't. It's coming from It's coming from the Lord himself. You can't win. We can't win.
That's
right. Can't rebuild like. Why didn't we just rebuild Wall Street again? Because this is the Lord himself sending curses, confusion, frustration, and everything you do. That's it.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's it. God.
That's it. It says until
I saw that
you are completely destroyed. For what? For doing evil and abandoning me. And that's what we did as a nation. Evil, and we abandoned Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And the punishment is curses, confusion, and frustration. Can't make it no clearer than that.
That's college called Langston Hughes College.
Hey, brother. Sorry, go. What you say?
No, I said that's all I got.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
When somebody attacked the Asian,
the Germans got wiped Wall Street themselves. They haven't. They just complain about Black Wall Street not being there. You talked about how those other cities are, and I know I grew up Black. A lot of us grew up Black in the United States. Guess where we didn't hear anything about those cities? From parents, grandparents, never heard these things. So then that means they failed us by telling us where these things are and what they meant. What you said the Jews do. The Jews actually do that to their children. They send their kids to Hebrew school when they're children. When you said they don't talk about how the Germans won, well, last I checked, they got billions from the Germans, and the Germans got wiped, as far as their empire, got wiped out, and they ended up getting their own state from it. Now over in Germany, you can't even say nothing bad about the Jews. Not only that, but the Jews run the legal system, Jews run Hollywood, Jews run the banking system. So the Jews, in my opinion, would be the patriots. They're actually winning. So if I was a Patriot fan, I wouldn't be sitting around talking about how horrible my Patriots are, because we've won 7 Super Bowls in a span of about 10 years. That's pretty impressive. So I wouldn't be talking bad about them. But if I am, i.e. the Raiders, then I would be talking bad about them because of where they sit. So you're right. the Chinese, you said that they don't become American. No, actually they do. I talked to a young man by the name of Steve Kim who comes on my show, and almost every Asian that I talk to, second generation Asian, you know how they speak? Perfect English. Everybody else decides that being a part of America is the best way to integrate and subvert America, if that's what you're trying to do, which is what the Jews did. Blacks complain about what they get in the justice system. Blacks
somebody said in the comment right here, it says Black Lion, the point he made is black people, which you're not even black, so that's a whole nother lesson for another time, but black people should have rebuilt what was destroyed and lost. However, he didn't make the point that white people don't do more harm to black people than black people. No. You niggas, these other nations don't have to get their shit destroyed and keep rebuilding. Jake been doing rebuilding, but it's not for you. And how can you rebuild? How can you rebuild when every time you get something, it's reduced to rubble? You can't do it. You know, it's just not happening. Without a doubt, Esau has done way more to our people than we've ever done to each other. Like the scripture says in Daniel 9 and 12, what has been done unto Jerusalem hasn't been done to any nation. Roughly paraphrasing.
That's right.
And it's not like, you know, Esau destroys these Israelite cities, you know, and then just leaves us alone. Like, nah, he destroys them and then makes sure he creates, you know, scenarios to make sure that we don't come up again.
Right.
See? So it's not like we're just left alone and okay, just do what you want. Like, no, they specifically create, you know, the ghetto, they redline us so that that we don't advance, man.
Yep. So you can't have a thriving community of so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and they continue to. It's your neighborhood, and if you do have a neighborhood, which you don't, because we're renting everything, most of the prospect of home ownership is extremely low for so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans in America. That sense of wealth and pride that comes with that is damn near not even there. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna have thriving communities of working families, middle class. Those shits is done away with. Like the brother said, the Esau makes sure after he knock it down and burn it down that he'll make it so that you can't come back to that land and rebuild on it. It either flood it, put poison in the ground, so you can't. It's not arable land no more. It's not good for agriculture, sheep, nothing of that. Then he make laws so that you can't even have these kind of things. He got laws where you can't have a small farm in a community. It can't be a rural area without extra taxes and shit like that. You know? Hey, it ain't just this dude talk about, because Black Wall Street has become synonymous with self-reliance, right? But you look at I did a video. I think I did a video on it. I think I did do a video on it, or I might have read it. Anyway, I might have did. I think I did a lesson. Long story short, in LA, you had a whole, in the city of Los Angeles. Inside the city of Los Angeles, you had a thriving community of wealthy blacks in Los Angeles, and they what they do, they ran a fucking highway through that shit. It was called Sugar Hill. I think it was called Sugar Hill or Sugar something, Sugar Town, something. I forget the name of it, man. But anyway, they built it, but they did it through the whole country. It wasn't just Los Angeles. It just happened to be that particular area in Los Angeles, in the middle of what is now the I-10, used to be a thriving, wealthy community of mansions, black mansions with actors, not just actors, but doctors, lawyers, you know what I mean, buying these homes. And what Esau do? He mentioned redlining. He ran a fucking highway through that shit. So what used to take you a couple of blocks to walk through, now it takes you a mile. It's like over a mile long to get to the other side because it's a big ass highway in the middle of that shit. Meanwhile, Fraternity Row and Sorority Row, none of that shit was affected. And why wasn't that? Because that's where Esau has his homes at. These fraternity homes and sorority homes at. You know, Jake don't even have sorority homes. You don't got no sorority and fraternity homes of your so-called Greek organizations. Why is that? Because home ownership was like it used to be the opening to wealth, and you could pass it down. You know.
Yeah.
So no, you ain't gonna get it built back up. It ain't just because niggas is wild and violent. What you see today took years to happen, took decades to happen. The condition that you see the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American in today in America, it took decades for that to happen, especially what happened to the so-called Negro.
Black women are always complaining about, look at our mortality rate inside the hospitals when we trying to give babies. You know what should happen then if you believe that these white people don't take care of you in the white hospital? You should do what the Jews did. I went up to New York, and I was surprised to see a police car.
I'll skip a little bit because I want to get to what Captain Sawyer was talking about.
The white man, just like you go to war with Satan, you go to war with demons.
Say whether I'm for or against reparations, but you did kind of just double talk because the Jewish man gets to this day, like the New York governor just gave $185 million to victims of the Holocaust. When you think about it, that generation is probably gone. But when you look up the news article, it says it's not just for their generations, it's for the generations after. And that's the
black women got $10 billion from Goldman Sachs to go and start businesses.
That's cap, because here's what would have been better. Here's what would have been better.
I'm just saying they got it. Not that it was good. I think it was horrible that they gave it to black women because they don't do anything for black men.
Well, before we get to that, because I know how you feel about the black woman.
Yeah, you know it's coming, baby. You know it's coming.
We'll get to that in a second. So now, but what I wanted to point out though, when World War, and because you brought up the Jewish thing, which I think I mentioned it as well, I just want to highlight something in which goes back to this subject of who's done more harm. The earth knew that what the Germans did to Jewish people was horrible. So much so that they divided a land called Palestine in half. Why? So that they didn't have to sit with who was oppressing them, so that they can be free. And then they fund them to this day. They reverence the Holocaust to this day. When black people got freed from slavery, they gave them nothing that you can say is retribution for the irreparable damage of uprooting a people from one continent, bringing them to another continent, stripping them. The Jewish people never lost their identity. Blacks lost their identity, their name, their race, their creed, and everything. And still, without reparations, in spite of it all, when the white man was going through his Great Depression, that's when we built. The church was one of the major cornerstones in the black community during what the white man called his Great Depression. Those cities I talk about, Seneca Village. Seneca Village was a village in Central Park that when they just wanted to expand it, they just displaced all the people out of Seneca Village so they can expand a park. And black people were just powerless to fight against it. Now, one thing I agree with you on, when you say our fathers or our mothers didn't teach us the parts of history that would allow us to not make the same mistakes, that's a part of the fear of the white man. After Tulsa, Oklahoma, you said it got destroyed. You know what they did after Tulsa? Oppressive to each other because of the oppression that we're getting.
He doesn't go into
you have two black men right
hold
here.
on, brother.
And we're on the opposite sides of something. I'm saying, if I got a son, and the reason my son is on death row right now, they get ready to come from Nigeria, we gonna try to come from Ghana, we gonna try to come from everywhere. In World War II.
Yeah, I was talk about the point, but I can't find it. It's getting late. I don't want to hold brothers up. But understand, at the end of the day, we kind of made our point through this. We brought out the precept where it spoke about. Actually, hold on, brother. Let me. Anybody, you brothers got a precept? If not, if you got a precept, brother?
No, I don't have one.
You kind?
No.
Let me bring this precept out. I just want to share something, but I got to stop sharing my screen. So give me a second. So I wanted to share this precept right here because, you know, ultimately, mercy is shown to our people. You know what I'm saying? And it's through YAHAWADAH's mercy that we're not consumed. All right. So it says, this is I'll start at 12. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 12. Then I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for the chastening of our nation.
Good one. Good one.
So when you talk about these different towns that were destroyed, when you talk about the whole system of slavery that was put on our people, when you talk about redlining, when you read it, you like, damn, man, it's fucked up. When you look at the judgments that we received in the ancient time, in your mind, if the spirit of the Lord wasn't on you to understand these words, these laws, and the commandments, the truth, the prophecies, if it wasn't on you to understand these things, you would be consumed you'll be discouraged to even want to try to seek after the Lord because of the calamities. But the Lord told, with speaking in this verse right here, that look, don't be discouraged for the calamities that you saw happen to our people. These are just judgments, punishments. Again, and I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged, meaning don't get sad, don't get angry, especially with the Lord, you know, because of these calamities, these troubles that we went through. And it's going to make more sense when I read it in the GNT, okay? But that they judge those punishments not to be for the destruction, but for chastening. And when you look up the word chastening, it's correction. All right. You look up the term chastening in on a Google and you search it out. It says what? That word for chastening, or when it pops up, it says of rebuke or misfortune, having a restraining or a humbling effect. So you can just take that word chastening and put humbling there. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not for the destruction, but for a humbling of your nation. So all those things we went through was basically so that we can be humble. We were walking in pride when we started worshiping idols. We were walking in pride when we disobeyed the laws of YAHAWADAH. We were walking in pride when we became extremely rebellious against YAHAWADAH. So the Lord had to use something to humble us. He used these nations to do it. Verse 13. For it is as a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. Verse 14. For not as with other, what the hell? For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish till they come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. It's going to make sense when I read it in the GNT. Okay, lest that being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance on us. All right, and therefore, verse 16, and therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us, and though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. And let's read that in the GNT. In the GNT, starting at the verse 12. In the GNT, starting with verse 12. I beg you not to become discouraged as you read about the terrible things that happen. Consider that this was the Lord's way of punishing his people, not of destroying them. And that's what the Lord did. He used these nations to punish us, not to destroy us. We're still here, brothers. We're still here, sisters. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't wiped out as a nation. We still here. But he used these nations as a way to punish us. In fact, it is a sign of kindness to punish a person immediately for his sins, rather than to wait a long time. The Lord does not treat us as he does other nations. He waits patiently until they have become deeply involved and sin before he punishes them. But he punishes us before we have sinned too much. So the Lord, when he judged these nations, he let their sins mount up to the heavens. Did he not say that about Edom? Your sins have mounted up to the heavens. So now when that judgment come down on Esau, it's going to be double the judgment, and it's going to be with no mercy. But with us, the Lord punishes us before we get too far in our sin. So look at it like this. We went through hardcore chattel slavery, right? Why did we go through that harsh? We went through the slavery of the indigenous Americans and a wholesale genocide, damn near genocide, of the so-called indigenous North, Central, and South peoples, which are the Israelites. Then you went through hardcore chattel slavery, and it was terrible. You went to Jim Crow, you suffered all of that shit, you hanging from trees, you rotting, you getting eaten by animals, all kinds of shit happened, right? But then the Lord came in with that mercy. He ended the slavery, chattel slavery in America, to a point, because chattel slavery still exists in prison system. But far as an outside system that affects the average Jakes, you know, he showed us mercy by taking that whip off your back. Now you can come into society, you can become wealthy, you can get a job, you can drink, you got Jake on drugs, you got them soothing their pain. When you was in chattel slavery, you wasn't soothing that pain. It was hard, right? So then it got to a point where now you got all this liberty. Now look at what's happening with Jake. They waxing worse than what we was doing before. Look at Jake. So now what's about to come? That judgment again. Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble going to be the tool used to extremely whip Jacob. The scripture says it's going to be a time where it's never seen in the earth. But what's coming behind it? Yahawadah. That mercy. That man up that mercy seat, Yahawadah, is coming down to come get his elect. You see? When these nations go into captivity, they're not going to have nobody to come get them. When these nations go into captivity, they're not going to have no drugs, no drinks, no whores, no. They're not going to be. It's not going to be a time where they get, loose from chattel slavery and they start to get wealthy and start to wax worse and harsh. Gog and Magog ain't gonna put them slippery ass shoes on and them suits and ties on and bounce back up with some weapons and fight against us. No, it's gonna be 1,000 long, hardcore years of hardcore captivity. You understand? Because their sins have mounted up. But with us, he shows mercy. With us, he has mercy. And I'll end it off with Wisdom of Solomon 12. And I think the point was in 3, so I'll go straight to it. 12 and 3. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 3. Matter of fact, I'll start at 1 because the point's in 3. I'm going to read quick. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. Verse 2. Therefore chastenest thou them by little and little that offend, and warnest them by putting them in remembrance, wherein they have offended, that leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord. And that's us. The Lord chasten us little by little that offend the Lord. And he warns us. How he warns us? With the prophets, with us, starting with the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone, starting with Abba Bivens, starting with High Priest Ariah, King Masha, all right? All those men that came behind, Elder Yaikwa, you know what I'm saying? Elder Shah, those men. He sent men like those men all the way down to Apostle Tahar, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ricard, all the bishop elders from Connecticut, and the brothers like us on down to warn the people, to remember, to put them in remembrance. But the only ones that's going to be in remembrance is the remnant of Israel. Again, that's mercy. Because the Lord could have said, fuck it, I'll just do away with the whole nation. That's why I had the brother pull up Exodus 32 and 1, but the point's in 3. It says, in all Salakia, I'm sorry, was it Exodus 32? Exodus 30. And we see Exodus Salakia. Basically, and he said unto Moses, yep, Yeah, the point's in 10. But Exodus 32:9. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. This is the Israelites. Now, therefore, let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. So the Lord got so angry with us that he was going to collapse our nation and destroy us and start all over with Moses. We would have been like Captain Tazariot said at a point in this video, we would have been the Mosemites, the Mosesites, right? But he didn't do that. Why? Because the Lord had mercy, and he used Moses when he was about to destroy us and start over with a new nation with him. He had Moses entreat for us, meaning he begged the Lord for us not to get destroyed. And Moses besought the Lord his God, and Moses besought Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, his God, and said, Yahweh, why doth thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out to slay them in the mountains and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Yashar'Allah, which is Jacob, thy servants, to whom thou sayest by thine own self, and saidest unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken I will give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And Yahweh repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hand, and the tables were written on both sides. On the one side and on the other side were they written. And the tables were written of the work of the, and the tables were the work of the Heavenly Father. And the writing was the writing of the Heavenly Father graven unto the table, right? And then, obviously you read on, Moses was so angry that he dashed the laws into dust. And he stepped on top of that fucking idol that was made by Aaron's hands, and he crushed it into dust. And he made all of Israel back then drink that shit, yo. He made them drink it. He made them drink that golden calf. He made them drink them laws, man. So much so that the Lord had to rewrite the laws for him again. And those are the laws that were set in the what is I'm at a loss in the ark, okay, that they were carrying on their shoulders, right? There's a name for it, but I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm moving so fast.
The covenant?
No, the Ark of the Covenant, the water, brother. The Ark of the Covenant, right? That was a second copy. But the first copy, the Lord had Moses destroy them and made Jake drink that stuff, which is symbolic because we're going to have the laws and statutes and commandments within us. And again, all that's mercy. That's the sure mercies of David. Who was Moses? Who was Peter? Who was King David? You got it, brother.
I had just one more precept in the book of Esdras 9 and verse 13. I'll read it in the NOT real quick. It says, now we are being punished because of our wickedness and our great guilt, but we have actually been punished far less than we deserve, for you, our God, have allowed some of us to survive as a remnant. And yeah, man, hey, Yahweh Shai should have destroyed us like the brother was going into, but guess what? Because of the great mercies of Yahweh Shai, we're here, man. Seeking Yahweh Shai once again, with the faith that sacrifice Yahweh Shai made, we might be forgiven of the Most High, man, and brought back to his fold.
That's right. That's right. And that remnant is the elect. It said it right there. It says, now we are being punished because of our wickedness and our great guilt. All of that stuff that's happening to us now, all that stuff that's happened to us in the past was us being punished for our wickedness and our guilt. But we have actually been punished far less than we deserve. Absolutely. Because by default, if the Lord hadn't had that mercy upon us and sent his only begotten son, Yahawadah, we all would have been done. Because we all would have been worthy of death, but we're not. It says, but we have actually been punished far less than we deserve. For you, our power have allowed some of us to survive as a remnant. And that's what the 1/3 is. Lord willing, we're going to be elect, we're going to survive this destruction that's coming. And he allowed that because of his mercy. And so with that, we're going to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, and say, give double honor to the apostles and the bishop elders, a great millstone for teaching his word to the elect. Lord willing, to next time. Shalom.
Hey, shalom.
The water for being with us.